far surpassing the expectations of their creator. The wayfarer had ultimately swayed the course of history. Arthur, true to his word, began the process of establishing a true representative democracy. For better or worse, the fate of London would be tied to the will of the people. Camelot continued to fight the enemies of democracy wherever they found them, ensuring fair and free elections in the region. Smythe was imprisoned indefinitely, pending investigations into their activities. They were put under strict surveillance, with a guard passing by their cell every hour. At midnight, on the 7th day of their incarceration, the guard passed by their cell to find it empty. A wide-scale search was carried out, but yielded nothing. Nowhere to be found, Smythe had seemingly vanished into the shadows. The Wayfarer, remembered as Gaheris in the new Legend of the Round Table, was honored for generations to come, not as an individual, but as a part of something greater. The Tommies continued to report to the government with a new charter outlining their role in a true democratic society. With Pete Davies at the helm, the Roundels rebounded. After cleaning up the few straggling hooligans, their club sprang back to life, though with tamer partying, because, thanks to a newly, mostly sober Davies. The Pistols of Camden embraced the future with cautious optimism. While life in Camden didn't change all that much, the rest of London adopting a way of life similar to their own was reassuring. Following the Battle of Westminster, the Camden Council discussed the Wayfarer's actions in depth. The Wayfarer was declared an honorary member of the Council for their involvement in the uprising. For the time being, Miller's men were left alone. They were deemed too much of a hassle to deal with, and Islington was blockaded. While they would occasionally sneak out and attack neighboring boroughs, their rage, for the most part, turned inwards. With no outlet for their fury, this spawned a culture of infighting. Gangs of Miller's men would beat each other to the death over trivial matters. Fortunes were lost and won at a swing of a fist. Only one thing united them: their devotion to their leader, Miller. Traders came and went, but the Croydonians rarely crossed the bridge that had been built for them. They regarded the rest of the world with disinterest, and they were better off for it. The Tommies never returned to Brighton, and their independence was guaranteed for years to come. They became a safe haven for those in London seeking a simpler life. In the grand scheme of things, they were insignificant, and they wouldn't have it any other way. While the rest of the city marched on, Brighton remained a capsule in time. Change was slow in Eastminster following the fall of the gentry. The Good Samaritans were instrumental in keeping a semblance of order through the chaos. With their newfound autonomy, the flame of community spirit burned brighter than ever. The free and fair elections were not kind to the gentry, who failed to form a majority in the subsequent Parliament. As time went on, the law no longer turned a blind eye to their extractive policies. This financial shock caused a significant decline in the Westminster surplus. Now on equal legislative footing with the rest of London, the gentry redirected considerable resources into lobbying for their interests. This investment would ensure they retained their economic dominance. The Vagabonds and the Isle of Dogs Syndicate established a wary peace. Though true trust could never be established, the streets at least were more free of violence. Eventually, it became the new norm, and the times of constant warfare were looked back on as a red day, not to be revisited. The Thamesfolk disappearances, thanks to the Wayfarers' efforts, slowed, but they did not cease entirely. They would remain isolated in enclaves, forever looking behind their backs. Archie, like many young men, struggled to find his place in Old Blighty. Never truly at home, he wandered the waste searching for a place to hang his head. He saw the world, or what was left of it, but always traded a comfortable bed for a new horizon every chance he got. Mad Jack returned to the only place he could ever truly call home, his gym. Still haunted by the memories of his troubled past, he found solace giving London's forgotten and neglected souls an outlet for their rage. Arthur Mountbatten's mind slowly but surely began to falter. Before the darkness could take him, he would spend the remainder of his days making up for lost time. He helped others the best he could in this strange new world that he had helped to create. When the time came, he would ask the Wayfarer for one final favor, an end to his troubles. He would do it with a smile. For what better person could give him his death than the person who gave him life? And so, the Wayfarer's journey came to an end. But it was not the end of history, only the beginning. Because in mankind's pursuit of power, there is no price too high, no life too valuable, and no ideal too sacred. Because war never changes.
Hey guys, James here. Just want to say at the end here that I thought I'd do this tiny bit of commentary because I'm not entirely sure if the song that's playing during the credits is copyrighted or not. But I was debating whether I should keep the credits in or not, and I haven't edited it yet, and I might speed it up just depending on how long this bit of commentary is, but I think it was important to include the credits because I genuinely had such a fantastic time with this mod, Fallout London. It's genuinely, for me, up there with my first experience of Fallout New Vegas. That's how much enjoyment I had with this mod. It's incredible what the Fallout London team have been able to pull off. It's nothing short of magical in the best possible way. If you haven't played it, firstly, why did you watch this video? I kind of spoiled the ending for you. Like, well, at least one of the endings. But secondly, please, if you are able to, go and play this mod. It's absolutely incredible. Even with my crappy laptop, and the game was running at 30 FPS for most of my playthrough, I still had an immense amount of fun. I really can't give this game enough praise. I really, one day, probably once I have like a, actual decent setup, PC, whatever, do more of the endings. Obviously, I might do that anyway on my current setup, but either way, I want to make more content in this game, this mod. I mean, it really is its own game, but technically a mod. I really want to play it more. It's absolutely fantastic. I'd love to like stream and stuff, but obviously that's not possible. I just really, really, really loved playing it. I want to give a full review one day because it's also just insane how much they improved upon base Fallout 4. It's so good that I really don't even want to go back to playing normal Fallout 4. Fallout 4 to me now is so boring in comparison to Fallout London. It's such a insanely huge difference between the two things. It's almost inconceivable, genuinely. A shout out to all the people who worked on this. Shout out to like all the voice actors, which may or may not be on screen right now, depending on how I've edited this. But yeah, just to have every single person who worked on this, it really is an incredible piece of work that they've been able to put together, which I'm going to continue to experience because I didn't cover everything in my playthrough. In some ways, I feel like I barely scratched the surface, which I know is a cliche thing to say, but there was like certain quests and little Easter eggs that I didn't quite get to just because I wanted to finish up on this playthrough as Wallace, which you may or may not know. I might put it in the thumbnail or title, I'm not sure. But if you've been following me in the Discord or on social media, you'll be able to see that I've at least designed my character to look like Wallace. But yeah, that's besides the point. I hope you guys, I was going to say enjoyed, but it wasn't really anything I did. It was just the ending cutscene to the game. Either way, I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, go play Fallout London. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon.